Overcoming depression, a life-changing story. In the heart of Montana, nestled between rolling hills and crystal-clear lakes, there was a quiet little town called Cedar Grove. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other, where the winters were long, and the summers were painted with golden wheat fields swaying in the breeze. Among the town's residents was a young man named Jack. To most people, Jack seemed like an ordinary guy, polite, hardworking, and always willing to lend a hand. But beneath his calm exterior, he carried a weight no one could see. The invisible struggle. Jack had always felt different. No matter what he did, there was an emptiness inside him that wouldn't go away. When he saw his friend Mike, always cracking jokes and lighting up every room, Jack thought, why can't I be that happy? When his neighbor Daniel, a successful entrepreneur, bought a brand new Ford F-150, Jack sighed, must be nice to have life figured out. When he saw a couple laughing together at the coffee shop, he wondered, why does joy come so easily to some people but not to me? The comparisons consumed him. Day by day, they chipped away at his confidence, leaving him feeling lost and disconnected. He started losing interest in things he once loved: fishing by the lake, playing his guitar on the porch, even talking to his mom on the phone. The wise old man. One afternoon, while walking along Silver Creek, Jack overheard some folks in town talking about an old man who had just moved into a cabin deep in the woods. People whispered that he had traveled the world, studying philosophy and the secrets of life. Desperate for answers, Jack decided to find him. The next morning, he drove his rusty old pickup truck down a winding dirt road until he reached the small log cabin. Sitting outside, sipping a cup of coffee, was Mr. Everett, a man in his 70s with silver hair and kind blue eyes. Jack hesitated, but then took a deep breath. "Sir, I don't know if you can help me, but I feel lost. No matter what I do, happiness feels out of reach. I see others enjoying life while I feel empty." Mr. Everett nodded and smiled. "Meet me by the lake tomorrow at sunrise. I'll show you something." Lesson from the lake. The next morning, Jack arrived at Echo Lake just as the sun peeked over the mountains. Mr. Everett was already there, standing by the water's edge. "Look at the lake, Jack," he said. "What do you see?" Jack stared at the still water. "It's calm. But when the wind blows, ripples form and disturb the surface." The old man nodded. "That's how your mind works. Naturally, it's at peace. But when you let worries, comparisons, and self-doubt take control, your peace is disturbed. Instead of trying to fight the ripples, just let them pass. The lake doesn't hold on to the waves, it simply returns to stillness." Jack pondered this. Could it really be that simple? Lesson from the mountains. Mr. Everett then pointed toward the towering Rocky Mountains in the distance. "See those peaks? They stand tall, no matter the weather. Rain, snow, sunshine, it doesn't change their foundation." He turned back to Jack. "Now, imagine if a small rock at the bottom of that mountain wished it were as tall as the peak. Would that change anything?" Jack shook his head. "No, the rock has its own place, just as the mountain does." The old man smiled. "Exactly. Every person has their own journey. Some will climb high, some will take a steady path. But your worth isn't measured by how high you stand compared to others. It's measured by how true you are to yourself." Jack felt something shift inside him. For the first time, he realized that his sadness wasn't about his circumstances, it was about his mindset. The turning point. From that day forward, Jack stopped measuring his life by other people's successes. He celebrated his small victories, waking up early, finishing a book, having a good conversation with an old friend. He focused on what truly made him happy, spending time in nature, fixing up his truck, and playing his guitar just for himself. He let go of the need for outside validation and started living for himself. Slowly, the weight on his shoulders lifted. His confidence returned, his work improved, and he felt lighter not because his circumstances changed, but because his perspective did. Inspiring others. Years later, Jack had become a pillar of strength in Cedar Grove. He still had struggles. Life wasn't perfect, but he had learned how to ride the waves instead of drowning in them. One evening, a younger man named Ethan approached him outside the local diner. "Jack, I've been struggling with feeling down. I don't know how to shake it." Jack smiled and placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Happiness isn't about being someone else, Ethan. A mountain doesn't need to be a river, and a lake doesn't need to be a tree. You don't have to be anyone but yourself. Peace comes when you stop chasing what you don't have and start appreciating what's already in front of you." And just like that, another lesson was passed on, like ripples fading into the stillness of the lake.